Today we're going to be talking about citizenship. And this topic, I chose to talk about this because over the weekend, we had we had a lot of issues concerning who's a citizen, who's not a citizen, and I saw a lot of people writing, making comments as to how a person can acquire citizenship in Liberia. And so I said, well, I think because there were different opinions, diverse opinions on this, and I said, I think it's important that when I come on the radio today, I talk about this topic, given that it is a trending topic. One, and secondly, with the opinions that I saw out there, it shows that there should be some level of um, clarity and, backed by evidence. And there should be some level of explanation as to what the law is and what the law talks about. So today we're going to be looking at three different laws. Even though they are all the same, they're all from the same group, but there are three. One has to do with the Constitution. We will read the constitutional provisions that has to do with citizenship and how one can acquire citizenship under our Constitution. Reason being is that our Constitution is our organic law, and therefore any other law that is promulgated, any other law that is crafted should not contravene any provision of the Constitution. So today we will look at Article 27, Article 28 of the 1986 Constitution, which is the current Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. And we will look at the Alien and Nationality Law of Liberia as amended and approved May 9, 1974. So our Alien and Nationality Law is a law that was passed May 9, 1974, and 1974. That was when it was amended. It was approved 1973, May 15, but then it was amended on May 9, 1974, and that was what was published. And then we have a recent amendment that we will take a closer look at. And this recent amendment has a long name, and I don't know why they name it this long. It was just been the amendment to certain provisions of Alien Nationality Law, but they said an act to amend and or notify certain provisions of the Alien and Nationality Law relating to citizenship and restoring the citizenship rights lost as a consequence of those provisions. And it was approved July 22nd, 2022. It was printed July 25th, 2022. So it's a recent law, and so we will look at that. We should also note that the first law I talk about, the Alien Nationality Law of 1973, 1974, came into existence before before our previous constitution was abrogated, and the reformation of the Constitution, the new 1986 Constitution. So there was some contravention there. There were some provisions of the Constitution that did not align with the provision of the 1974 law, because the 1974 law, at the time it was enacted based on the current Constitution at that time, and it was the 1847 Constitution. So it was based on that old Constitution that the 1973 law was enacted. So now when it came now to a new Constitution around 1986, the state said, okay, but then let us make a new law not new law, but let's amend provisions that contravene the 1986 Constitution, and therefore they did these provisions that we're going to talk about today. The first thing in our 1984 Constitution, Article 27, which is a constitutional clause that has to do with citizenship, says all persons who, on the coming into force of this Constitution, were lawfully citizens of Liberia, shall continue to be Liberian citizens. In 2 says, in order to preserve, foster, and maintain the positive Liberian culture, values, and character, only persons who are Negroes or of Negro descent shall qualify by birth or by naturalization to be citizens of Liberia. And I want for us to take key note of that particular provision B. They say only persons who are Negroes or Negro descent. So it means that if you are not a Negro or you are not a Negro descent, there is absolutely no way you can obtain Liberian citizenship. And who is a Negro? The first thing we should know, the word Negro or Negress. For the female, it's called Negress. The male is called Negroes. And our Constitution says Negro because, of course, at the time, everything in our law was always he. So obviously they use the word Negro. So Negro, the historical background of Negro is a Spanish and Portuguese word. And it means black, the color black. So during the days of way back, black people were called Negroes. So if you black, your color, your skin texture, your pigmentation is black, or you have African descent, that is, of course, you're from a black lineage, obviously you will be called a Negro. So our Constitution, the current Constitution that we have, is saying that only people of black heritage, black African descent, that means some way along the line you're from a black person, you're from a black heritage, means that you can be citizen in Liberia either by birth or by naturalization. Negro does not mean your skin pigmentation has to be dark. That's not what Negro means. Even though majority of Negroes have the skin pigmentation dark, there are people that the skin, because of course maybe the mother is from a black background and the father is from another background. That is, maybe the father is American, Spanish, European, and they are not African. So you can even be African. We know that you can be African and you can't be black. There are some Africans that are not black. But they didn't say African descent. They said Negro descent. So it means that you have to have in your lineage someone, either your grandfather or your grandmother was a black person. And it can be your mom was black. And your pa white, your mom is mulatto. So you will look closer to white. You are still of Negro descent. So that thing that we have, that we see some other skin texture and the person looks the person looks, they have what we can say mulatto color, or they have we just assume, and that is very, very wrong. Just look at somebody, say, but look at the male color, look at his hair. Because of that, he's not African, or he's not an African descent. One typical example I like to give of someone who's from an African lineage, who's a Negro from an African lineage, and there is no way you can see her and say she's from an African lineage, is Mariah Carey. Those who in the music business, you see Mariah looks white. Real white. When you see Mariah, you see white, the hair, the skin texture, and everything. But Mariah's mother, was it her mother? Yeah, I think it's her mother, if I'm not mistaken. Her mother's mother, her mother's mother or her mother's father, one of the grandparents were black. So a black lady got a child by a white man, born a mulatto child. That mulatto child too got married to a white man, born a white, we'll say white, but yet and still you see her, she's black. She is black. So we have this over and over, and all the time we try to attach citizenship, or we try to attach this word Negro with the skin color. You don't know someone's background. So to just come out and say, oh, because this person's skin color is not like this, so that means the person does not have African lineage, I think it's wrong. Sometimes it's better for us to do our own investigation before coming up to say, oh, this person does not have African lineage. So it is wrong. And if it's you in another country, right away, somebody just see you and start to talk about you like that, I don't think you will feel good to know that the first thing someone sees, they don't see a person, but they see a color. And that's the same thing we try to get away from. When we leave from here, we go to other people's country. We don't want them to see color because we want the same opportunities that they have. They grant opportunities to other people out there. We want those same opportunities. But but then when we come back home, when it has to do with us, then we want to see color. We don't want to pass color. We want to see color. So in as much as our constitution is still biased, because I would say our constitution is still biased as compared to other constitutions in the world. Our constitution still says that it should be somebody from Negro descent, but it does not mean everyone from Negro descent will have a dark skin like you and myself. So it is for us to investigate someone's background and get to know who the person is properly. Maybe somewhere in the lineage they have a black person that has altered their lineage. It means that they are not totally maybe white or whatever it is before we can come out and say this person is like this. Other than that, I don't think it's something for us to base on, because that brings more division than it brings togetherness. Okay, so till we come down to Article 28. Okay, Article 28 has only one article, and it says, I will read, any person, at least one of whose parents was a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth, shall be a citizen of Liberia, provided that any such person shall, upon reaching maturity, renounce any other citizenship acquired by virtue of one parent being citizen of another country. No citizen of the Republic shall be deprived of citizenship or nationality, except as provided by law, and no person shall be denied the right to change citizenship or nationality. So this one goes deeper. This one goes deeper. This one basically saying if at least one of your parents was a citizen at the time you were born or before you were born, you should be citizen of Liberia, but there's a criteria there. They say you should, when you reach the age of maturity, we know the age of maturity is 18. You should renounce any other citizenship that was acquired by virtue of another parent. So it means that when you reach the age of 18, say for instance, you have your father, let me just say your father, okay? Your father is a German guy, and your mother is a Liberian citizen. I'm quoting constitutional provision. I haven't even gone to the statutes yet, because any law in the statute cannot contravene the constitution. It means that law automatically is void. Okay, so your father was a German, and your mother your father is a German citizen. It means white, totally white, and your mother is a Liberian citizen, and they met wherever. Before then, our previous law, as we talk about in the nationality law, say when they meet outside Liberia and they born you outside Liberia, that was a whole different thing. If they born you inside Liberia, then Liberia are going to look at your citizenship as something. But this time around, the law, the constitution as it has been amended did not say that. So the constitution here is saying that the both of them meet. They have you. When you reach the age of maturity, you should renounce. It means that you should go to court, because renunciation, obviously, in anything that has to do with citizenship, the Constitution, I mean, the Supreme Court has in the case Chief Tish Jallo, I think versus NEC, has in that case said that anything that has to do with renunciation, that has to do with citizenship, has to do with, it has to be in the court. It's somebody cannot just say, oh, because of X, Y, Z, or because you have this lineage, because your father is German, it means that automatically you are a German citizen. No. Or it means automatically no. So they're saying here that provision still remains in our law, that you have to go and renounce the other citizenship of your father and then acquire the Liberian citizenship. Because this is in the Constitution, this cannot never ever be amended by passing a statute, by passing a law. And this one, yeah, there's a law that was amended in the 2022 Act as well that speaks to it. But it's still there, even though they didn't use the word renunciation, but it's still there that you have to go to the court and pledge your allegiance. But in the same vein, they said nobody should be denied citizenship. So let's go to our amended law that I wanted to talk about. And the actual thing I wanted to talk about was acquiring citizenship through marriage. So we have already talked about acquiring citizenship through birth. That is, either one of your parents is a Liberian citizen, they born you, you have to renounce the other citizenship and you have to come for them. But what if you are acquiring this citizenship by marriage? That is, I'm not a Liberian citizen. My husband is a Liberian citizen. Whether we are in Liberia or out of Liberia, my husband is a Liberian citizen. So I want to be a Liberian citizen. I want to hold a Liberian passport. Of course, my children are going to be Liberian citizen, and therefore I want to travel with my children to Liberia anytime and enjoy the citizenship of my husband, just as whichever country I in, is possible that he can be able to acquire citizenship through me as well. The law here is saying in section 21.3, that is our latest amended law. They are saying accusation of Liberian citizenship by marriage. Let me just open a little bit because my abo, the abo here now you see. Okay. A person of Negro descent. We come back to this Negro descent again. So let's go. I will explain all of those. A person of Negro descent who marries a Liberian citizen shall become a citizen of Liberia by virtue of such marriage without affecting that person's citizenship before the marriage. Such person needs to only appear before a Liberia council in any country or before a circuit judge in Liberia and take an oath of allegiance. This is where you acquire citizenship by marriage. So, but the first criteria here is that you have to be a Negro descent. So it comes back to the same Negro descent. So Negro descent means that you got to be a Negro. You got to be black, or you be from black lineage or black background. So even if you are a Liberian citizen and you marry someone who's not a Negro, that means maybe you marry, like I did the first example with the German, and you married the German. Imagine our law is saying when you go to Germany, you know that you can acquire German citizenship when you get married to a German. In our law here, that German man cannot acquire citizenship because he got married to a Liberian woman. That's what our law is saying. Because he's not a Negro or he's not from a Negro descent. But if it is established that he is from a Negro descent, that means maybe his grandfather or great-great-grandfather was, or great-great-grandmother was a Negro or Negro descent, if he has that in his lineage, I don't care how his skin pigmentation is white. I don't care how his skin can look pure. Once he has that in his lineage, of course he can be Liberian citizen. For the fact that he married to a Liberian and he's a Negro descent, he has a Negro background. So let's get it now. We shouldn't mix this whole thing up by saying, oh, because the person's skin pigmentation is looking too bright, so it means that no, we shouldn't just jump to conclusion. And that's why we take our time here on Freedom FM every Monday to bring you the law and what the law says, so you don't get confused with all of the other explanations out there. And when I come here, I always read from the law itself. So because I don't want you to get confused, it is my duty that I have taken upon myself to enlighten you on what is true, what is good, what is not good. Okay? So, y'all, please leave this person alone. Especially, I'm not talking about the political aspect of it, whether she's able to run the university. That's the whole political aspect of it. Well, the president has the willpower to nominate, and the board appoints according to the university's charter. So, well, if the president deems it fate to appoint or to nominate this person, who am I to say any other thing? You know, I'm sure they went through a thorough vetting process, whatever it is. But my own thing is about her citizenship, except we can know for sure 100%, because the whole citizenship thing had nothing to do with, for me, I think it had nothing to do with the job that she acquired. Because, of course, we have foreigners that can come in this country and they can be consultants and they can get other jobs. And I don't know whether any part of our law say foreigners cannot get certain jobs in Liberia. Okay, except we go back now to the labor law. So I don't know whether it is within our labor law or it is within the charter of the university that foreigners cannot be the president of the university. But my own attention is not on the political aspect. No, it's not. And this is not about the politics. This is about me enlightening you on our legal process as it relates to someone's citizenship and how they can acquire it. From what we do know now, this woman is married to, I don't know about whether she's a Negro descent or not. I saw her picture. From indications that I see in the picture, she seems like a Negro descent, and she's married to a Liberian citizen. And so, well, if it comes to her citizenship, the aspect of her citizenship, that has absolutely no bearing until I can see documentations that it has bearing on her being president of the university. If it comes to her citizenship, you know, it reminds me of the years that we had Obama as president in America. And when Trump kept saying, of course, Obama is a black man, typical black man, mom black, Bob black, everything black on him. And no, I think his mother was I don't think his mother was black. His father was black, and he really took the black from behind his father. The hair was, you know, Obama hair's a little curly. So Trump, America's current president, brought about the whole birthright, you know, because in the American Constitution, you shouldn't or you can't be American president if you were born outside America. So that's their own law they have in the Constitution. And this is America we're talking about. And that became something. And everybody like, oh, what a man birth certificate. We want to see. In fact, he was born in so place. So the aspect of them, for their own, their focus was basically on where he was born, because it is what the law required. The law required that he be born in the United States, and he had his birth certificate. It shows that he was born in the United States. But some people are saying, oh, we cannot authenticate this, you know. There was a whole politics about it, which for me, I think psychologically it kind of plays on the person because, well, this is my life, and and XYZ. So I don't believe. So I don't, I don't know. I don't know whether I want to be in that position where my citizenship becomes an issue, and everyone is like, it's the only point of discussion. Everyone is discussing it, and all because I'm offered a job that maybe I'm qualified for. So instead of looking at my qualification and what I bring to the table, it's all about my citizenship. I'm not going to buy sentiments on this because, of course, everyone, have the right to question, to, lay out there what they feel, what they think about issues. But I do think that sometimes we need to get the whole issue of the citizenship right before before we start to talk about someone's citizenship. Because if we don't get it right, we might say something that would be a little hurtful. And under the same law, let me come to section I read section 21 verse 30. So let me go to section 21 verse 31. And it says, this one relates to children born outside of Liberia to natural Liberian parents. So they say a child born outside of Liberia to parents either of whom are naturalized Liberians shall become a citizen of Liberia through naturalization of the father or mother if such naturalization takes place while such child is under the age of 21. So the child born outside to naturalized Liberian parents, you should do the naturalization if the naturalization took place when the child was under the age of 21, or such person appears before a Liberia council in his or her country of residence upon attaining the age of 21 years, but not later than the age of 25, and take an oath of allegiance to Liberia, or appears before a circuit judge in Liberia and take an oath of allegiance to Liberia. A certificate of citizenship shall be issued by a circuit judge to such person after taking the oath of allegiance. So this one relates to children, or a child born outside of Liberia, but to parents of whom are naturalized Liberians. They are not saying parents of, no, a natural Liberian citizen. No, they say naturalized, those that have naturalized Liberian citizen. So this is the criteria under which they fall. So if your parents were naturalized Liberian citizens, say for instance you have two Ghanaians or two Nigerians, they came here, they naturalized as Liberians, and during the point of naturalization they have a child, and the child is under 21 years. Of course, that child will be seen as a naturalized Liberian citizen until the child can attain the age of 21. Between the age of 21, before 21, then the child should be able to go and take the oath of allegiance as of whether they want to retain the naturalization that they got through their parents, or they don't want it. If you don't want it, well, that's it. If you want it, then you go and you do your naturalization, and then you will be given certificate for that. So there are other things on this law that has to do with reportage. So even on the provisions the first provision I read on Article 2130 that has to do with citizenship by marriage, there's still a provision. So it doesn't say because you get married to a Liberian citizen today, so it automatically makes you a Liberian citizen. No, it doesn't say that. So as you get married to a Liberian citizen, if you are in Liberia, or if you are, let me talk about outside Liberia. If you are outside Liberia, all you have to do is to go to a Liberian council office. So look for one Liberian council office. You know that the place can get a Liberian, passport and other things from. Go to the Liberian council office and just pledge your allegiance to Liberia. And once you take your oath of allegiance, that's it. you are considered a Liberian citizen, you can get Liberian passport, you can travel on it. If you are in Liberia and you married a Liberian citizen, but you haven't yet taken your oath of allegiance, what this thing say is all you have to do is to go to the circuit court, apply to the circuit court, and prove that you are all foreign, not foreign, but you are all Negro descent by maybe your passport, by what is in your passport, or whichever way you prove that you are a Negro descent, and that you have intent of becoming a Liberian citizen, and that you are married or a Liberian citizen, and you just go there and they will issue, take your oath of, you go and take the oath of allegiance, and well, you are a Liberian citizen, you see. But that is the procedure to go through. So the first one, you have to be a Negro descent. Then the next one, you have to be married to a Liberian citizen. Then the third one, now you have to go now to the consulate office. If you're out of Liberia, or when you're in Liberia, you go to the circuit court, and the circuit judge is going to issue the oath of allegiance. So these are the ways in which you can acquire Liberian citizenship by marriage. So it is citizenship by marriage. And the reason why this is in the amended law, because this was not like this before. Only men honor our laws. Yeah. Liberia is an interesting country. On our laws, only men used to pass on citizenship, not women. I know it's strange. There will come a day that we'll talk a lot about something like that. But anyway, since it's in our past, it's something that we can talk about because we saw that it wasn't good. And so we decided that we were going to amend it so that the both genders benefit from it. And it was just done in 2022. 2022, yes, 2022. So we're glad that children born out of Liberia are given the right to, become Liberian citizens when they want. And children born here, there were people that were even losing their properties. There were people that were losing their properties, and everything. Okay, so there are limitations here, though. Limitation on elective public offices. A Liberian citizen who holds the citizenship of another country shall not be elected for any elective public office while still a citizen of another country. Should such person desire to contest for elective public office, the person must renounce the citizenship of the other country at least 1 year prior to applying to the National Elections Commission to contest for an elective public office. And such documentary evidence of such renunciation of citizenship of the other country shall be filed with a circuit court in Liberia and with the National Elections Commission at least 1 year before applying to the National Elections Commission to contest for elective public office. So the representative and the senator then. So if any of these people are dual citizens, they hold in dual citizenship, they lawyer apply to them. Okay. So for representatives, any elective office, the presidency as well as an elective office, you cannot hold two citizenship. That's what the law say. That's what the law say. It doesn't just stop there. It goes to other provisions as well. Okay. And we should know that the citizenship can be revoked. Okay, Liberia has the right to revoke citizenship. It's under this law as well. It's under section 21, verse 55. So yeah, while this law is a good law, this law has its own limitations as well. So it's not a one jacket fits all law. And it's something, okay. A Liberian citizen who holds the citizenship of another country shall not be eligible for appointment to the public office of Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense, and Executive Governor of the Central Bank. To the three places they say you shouldn't be foreign citizen, you shouldn't have dual citizenship and be governor of the Central Bank. You have to renounce citizenship first. To be the Minister of Finance, you have to renounce any other citizenship you have. And to be the Minister of Defense, you have to renounce any other citizenship you have. So let us talk about this. It's for information purposes, it's for educational purposes. Hoping that someone has learned something today. And the numbers are 0886 500 104, 0886 500 104, 0776 104 104. Is that it? 0776 104 104, 0886 500 104, 0886 500 104, 0776 104 104, 0776 104 104. So these are just a few of what, but this, it was, I mean, I was just prompted to talk about this because a lot of us were just out there and we just saying our own things and doing things. Hello, caller, your name, where are you calling from? Okay, all right. That's that. So we're just there and saying our own things and doing things the way we want it. Hello, caller, your name, where are you calling from? Your name again? Uh-huh. Okay, Mambuzu. Make a point. But what if she's a Liberian? Well, her husband can be Liberian. She herself can be a Negro descent and be a Liberian. I mean, I don't know what the charter say, but I don't think the charter say only Liberians can be president of the university. Okay, all right, we'll talk about that off air. All right. Okay. Citizenship by adoption. So there are some of us, we want to adopt babies. When we have a caller, just let me know, please. There are some of us we want to adopt babies, and sometimes we feel like, well, we can only adopt Liberian children. While it is true, sometimes it's good to do internal adoption. When you leave from here, well, you could want to adopt a child also from Liberia. And so that provision as well is covered under our law, given the fact that the law recognizes that someone out there might have the desire to adopt a child. In section 20.2, citizenship by adoption, a person under the age of 18 years whose natural biological parents are not citizens of Liberia, but who is adopted by a citizen of Liberia, shall automatically become a citizen of Liberia by virtue of such adoption if such person is a Negro or of Negro descent. So you see from the Constitution, that's why I was defining a Negro or Negro descent to you, even from the Constitution. Because all of what I'm reading here, these privileges, these rights are only given to Negro or Negro descent. So it means that if I sit here and maybe I go to the Philippines and I see a little child, and this child, it looks so adorable, and this child, I want to adopt this child. The law here is telling me in Liberia, the law is telling me here that if that child is not a Negro descent, it means that that child can be a Liberian citizen. Okay. Okay, so that child can be a Liberian citizen because I am the one who I am adopting that child, but that child has to be a Negro descent. That's the same thing. The meaning of the child can be Liberian. So if I go and take my little baby from which country again? I talked about Philippines, right? Liberian law say even though I am a Liberian and I went and adopted a child, but once the child is not a Negro descent, it means that a child cannot take my citizenship. But if that child is a Negro descent, the child can take the citizenship. So when you hear me first talk about how our law is biased, but mind you, when we leave from here, we go to other people countries, we want to become citizens there. You see? So do we got comments?
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody is asking, so Liberal Constitution is racist, right? Of course, Liberal Constitution is racist. Let's be realistic. That's it. I mean, we may not like it, but it is like that according to what I have read. It is like that because of our history. So because of our history, we have, some of these things that are happening today, they are happening because of our history, because of the way our people were taken from here. They were taken to other countries. They suffered, they labored so hard. And when they went there, they saw how they were treated. They were treated so bad. And at the time, they themselves could not even acquire citizenship. No, they were treated like second class human beings. They were not treated right. So, because of that, when they came and they decided that they were going to form this country and they were going to live here as a free persons in this country, they decided that, well, so they decided that, well, they were going to craft our laws in the way our laws are crafted. Hello, caller, your name and where you calling from? Please move away from your radio a little bit. It's giving us a terrible feedback.
Very sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Emmanuel.
Okay, so it was Liberia in Africa since 1996. Africa have left on our travelism and all of those things that causes other countries to be developed, Liberia is still into it. So our constitution is a barrier. It places us in the position where when we leave from here, we go to other countries, we want to see ourselves up there, compare ourselves to the people, but when people leave the country, come here, treat them as if this country is not on the surface of the earth. Because it was Liberia in Africa was in that kind of stuff, but since 1996, Africa have left on it, so it's only Liberia that still get our bias only in the constitution. So it's very, very bad. We need to maintain that portion of that particular constitution so that this country can move forward. Because while other people come here, other people want to take citizenship of this country, but for that, they cannot be citizens. So that particular thing needs to be addressed.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your point. So he is saying that when others come from other country, well, they want to be citizen here. When we leave from here and we go to other people country, we want to be citizen, and we're fighting so hard. And that's true. When we go to some other countries, we definitely want to be citizens. We can fight so hard. We looking at the requirements, getting immigration lawyers to, just so that we can live there in peace, so that we can be disturbed. So, but then when we come here, it is the other way around, I will take some comments from Facebook. Tobasi Christopher, he says, American Liberian Constitution of Liberia, sad. Well, for him, he said it's sad. Again, he said the American Liberian Constitution says only Black people can become citizens of Liberia by language, by constitution, sad. And then we have he asked a question. So Liberia Constitution is racist, right? Of course. Looking at the definition of racist, of course, you can say that. Helena Wilson says, so sad. You need to approve the precedents to anybody because they are qualified for that. So sad. I'm not really getting what Helena was trying to say here, but I think it relates to when we talked about whether this person is a Liberian or not, and the person came and the person is qualified. So if the law doesn't prohibit, if we don't have any law that prohibits the person from, spearheading the university, why not? Should it only be given to a Liberian? Well, I'm not in a capacity to answer that. That was by the wisdom of the president and the board of trustees of the University of Liberia. So if that was what they thought about, and they said, well, this is the right way to go about it, well, if it's not prohibited by our law, then that's it. I was only looking at the citizenship aspect, given the fact that a lot of people questioned the citizenship of this woman. I was just trying to provide the law as to how people acquire citizenship, how people can acquire citizenship by birth, people acquire citizenship by adoption, people acquire citizenship by marriage. The central thing there is that you just have to be from a Negro descent. And so I don't think if we have not done sufficient research to show whether this person is of Negro descent or not, just by looking at the skin pigmentation of a person, we can't say the person is not a Negro descent or not. So except maybe, well, race-wise, you are very, very much intelligent in that area and you know how to distinguish race. But other than that, no. The American Liberian Constitution war or is just bad. It is bad, period. Okay, Tobasi. Well, that's your opinion. Okay, Andrew, thank you so much. Andrew Nangbe is thanking us for the legal guidance that we provide here every Monday, 2:00. So Andrew, thank you as well for recognizing our efforts. Okay, so as we go on, we've talked about citizenship by adoption. You still have the time to call 086 500 104. Don't forget to play a cash giveaway. The cash giveaway king is in the building. So don't forget to play a cash giveaway, and you can call 086 500 104, 0776 104 104. 0776 104 104, 0886 500 104. Call, let's talk about it. We have less than 10 minutes to be here. So what questions we don't ask now, we cannot ask when we are not on radio. That's what I want to say. If you don't ask the question now, you won't have the time to ask it when you are on radio. I thought somebody will ask, but then all the representatives and the senators we have around here that we hear they say they are American citizens. So what's about it? Are they just going to automatically lose their citizenship? Because we have them plenty here. A lot of them, they have other citizenship. We hide it. I don't know. And this law, the good thing is that it passed right on their own fingers. They sign it into law. So yeah. So yes, your name and where you calling from? Hello, you are on radio. Your name and where you calling from? Okay, we lost that caller. Okay. So the limitations are there. I know maybe there were some experts that gave the experts' opinion on these things that informed the drafters of this law's decision to put in some of these limitations, especially the limitation on running for public office, elective public office. So that limitation is there. And so when you are out of Liberia, or you have acquired other citizenship from other countries, and you are coming to Liberia to run, maybe this could be one of the reasons why you are prohibited from running by the NEC, because they said that you have to renounce at least 1 year before, and then before you apply to the National Election Commission to contest in a public office. So, and renunciation is a process; it's not an event. So that could be another thing. Okay. So our ministers of finance, we're going to be looking at your citizenship, ministers of defense, other ministers, central bank governors. Well, that is what the people say. Okay. So then, but again, the same law say you have the right to acquire citizenship of another country. So when you leave from here, you already are a Liberian citizen. And I want, let me read. It's this page 4 or 5. Okay, to promote reconciliation, unity, social harmony, and in order to be in compliance with modern trends of the nationality laws of most countries, the right is reserved to a Liberian citizen to acquire the citizenship of another country without affecting his or her Liberian citizenship and the rights and emoluments attendant thereto. So this was one of the areas under the laws, under our previous law, that had a serious social problem, because some people from here would have property with their brothers, with their sisters, and the brothers and sisters go to another country, because in our previous law, once you go to another country and you take on citizenship and it can be proven that you take on citizenship, you automatically lose your property here, because it means that you're not a Liberian citizen, so you couldn't own property. So people who literally carry their brothers and sisters to court so that a brother and sister could lose their property, especially when it has something called tenancy in common. Tenancy in common on our law is where a property is owned by siblings, or maybe relatives. All of them got the property together. They have one vested interest in that property. Everyone, maybe one grandmother or grandfather left it to the grandchildren, and all the grandchildren together, everybody looking for a way to push each other off the property. So once you know that somebody finish acquiring citizenship in Ghana, you go right to Liberia and say the man acquire citizenship in Ghana, so he can be part of our property again. Of course, that was the law. The law said, well, that's it. Of course, that's it. That's what's gonna happen. But this particular provision that I just read, this provision struck that entire thing down. That is Article 3, Section 1. So Article 3, Section 1 say, look, the person is a Liberian here and they leave from here to go any other country to go acquire citizenship there. They get our citizenship. They have the right to get a citizenship. And anything they get here, they will not lose it. They will not lose the Liberian citizenship, and they will not lose whatever they got here, except they decide that, well, I want to renounce my Liberian citizenship. It means that I'm going to the court and I'm going to just do the process, and I don't want to be a Liberian citizen any longer, which they have the right to do it. And then when that happens, then of course. So we are already out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today on this ride. We are here every Monday learning from the law. So you always have to turn in here so you learn something from the law. At the end of the day, you can say, well, I did not know, because they say ignorance of the law is no exception. You can't say you did not know. So this is our little way of giving back. And that's why we come, we sit here every Monday at this time, 2:00, and we give back to our people by bringing you these educative programs. This is on Freedom FM 87.9, and it's every Monday, 2:00. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in 2:00 every Monday on this program. And the program is called Legal Discussion with Counselor KEBEH Saryon. Thank you, and I bid you a farewell.